Welcome everyone to Three Up and Three Down. I'm Sweet Lou. Today we're going to be taking on the DraftKings $1 million contest, which starts Sunday with a 1 p.m. games. I'm going to give you three up players, players that I think you need to pay up for in the slate, and three down players, players who I believe are undervalued and should help you out quite a bit when you're trying to save salary. So without further ado, let me share my screen with you, and we're going to go with the first up player, and it's going to be wide receiver Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers at 6,900. Samuel and the Niners are taking on Tampa Bay, and it could easily be the highest scoring game of the day. The Buccaneers have struggled to contain opposing receivers all year. Christian McCaffrey is finally back for San Fran. While some will stay away from Samuel for that reason, I think it's going to open things up for him. Samuel has only had one great game all year. He's simply too good for that to continue. He is listed as questionable right now with an oblique injury, so make sure you check the inactive list prior to the 1 p.m. kickoff. Next up on the Three Up and Three Down, we are going to go with wide receiver Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, who are taking on Jacksonville. Jefferson is 8,800. The Jaguars have the worst fantasy defense against wide receivers on this slate. I understand he is the most expensive player on the docket this week, and I think he's worth it. He's coming off a 137-yard against Indy, a better defensive team than the Jaguars are. He has between 6 and 8 catches each of the last 6 games. He's not had that huge Jefferson game yet. I have a feeling this could be the week. And finally, on our three upside, we're going to go with running back Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts, who are taking on Buffalo. Taylor is at 7,500. It is his third week back after missing 3 games with a high ankle sprain. He only had 59 total yards last week against Minnesota. And I really struggled to find a time where he has had consecutive bad games. I have a feeling he turns it around this week. And if Buffalo has a glaring weakness, it is its inability to stop the run. They are the second worst fantasy defense against running backs this season and the worst on this slate. Now we go to the three down session. And we're going to start off with wide receiver Amari Cooper of the Buffalo Bills at 5,800. Buffalo's taking on Indianapolis. Once again, Cooper is listed as questionable right now with a wrist injury. So be sure to check the inactive list before the 1 o'clock kickoff. If he plays, this will be Cooper's third game with the Bills since being traded by Cleveland. That's more than enough time for this veteran to know the playbook. He is by far the most talented receiver the Bills have on their roster. And add to that the fact that rookie Keon Coleman is going to miss the game. Next up on the three up and three downs slate, we're going to have quarterback Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets, who are playing Arizona. Rodgers is 5,700. Is Rodgers washed up? For the better part of the season, one had to question that. But something tells me the veteran may have found something last week against Houston. It was the first time all year he threw 3 touchdown passes. Part of me thinks this is a gamble on which Arizona defense shows up. Is it the one that held Cincinnati to 9 points last week? Or the one that's given up 34 or more 3 times this year? But you know what? Even at its best, Arizona is a middle-of-the-pack defense against fantasy quarterbacks. The Jets are simply too talented offensively not to take a chance on Rodgers at this price. And to be honest with you, I don't remember him being lower than this ever. And finally, we're going to go to the last one of our three down section, and it's going to be tight end Taysom Hill of the New Orleans Saints, who is going to cost you 4,000. The Saints are playing Atlanta. Yes, this is a risky pick, as you never know how the jack of all trades is going to be used. Hill missed 4 games before returning 2 weeks ago. The Saints in general have been devastated by injuries this year. Now receiver Chris Olave is on IR after suffering his second concussion of the year. Aside from Alvin Kamara, New Orleans has no one to put fear in opposing defenses. I think there's a good chance the Saints utilize Hill the way they did last week, catching running, and throwing. If that happens, he could be a steal. If it doesn't, he's going to be touchdown dependent. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe. Leave me a comment telling me you subscribed and ask me any lineup questions before 12 o'clock tomorrow. Also, if you're new to DFS, please click on my tutorial that's going to show up on the screen. If you know someone who wants to learn, then send them the link. On that video, I also tell you how you can have $100 deposited right into your DraftKings account. I wish you luck tomorrow and take care.